Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. Guys, okay. It's I was led to it this is an amazing I'm so excited about what's coming up here. This is we're going to make this um a two-part podcast series um because I got a message back in May that I channeled for a friend back in May, middle of May, the 14th. And when I did that channeling session, the message was huge. And at the time, I knew it was big, but I didn't realize how big. And I kept getting messages to go back to it. And I, yesterday, I finally got the opportunity. Well, I kept getting the message, go back, listen to it. And I just, you guys know me. I always sit with things. I never move on it right away. I give it time. I make sure that it's coming from the heart. I make sure I know what I'm dealing with here. And yesterday, I finally was like, okay, it's time to listen to this thing. As I'm as I'm listening to it, you guys know I'm dealing with the head thing. I was outside channeling. I was outside meditating because, well, meditating, listening to it, just kind of like being in the moment with my eyes closed, really trying to help myself get better here. Well, as that was happening, my family was outside with me, but they were like across the yard. I was by myself listening to this pod or listening to this channeling session and just being one with it. There was a hawk flying right over my head. And I knew they said it happened for a straight 2 minutes. And I opened up my eyes because I was starting to get sick again. And then as I was coming in, they were like, Chris, this hawk would not leave flying over your head. Um, so it just, and I know the excitement isn't coming through enough, but this is so huge and so awesome. I'm so excited about these next two podcasts. So I'm going to break this down into two sections here. The section of this podcast is going to be things that we can do. Um, Obviously, we have free will, so you're capable and able to do whatever you like and handle these situations however you like. However, um, but there are things that we can do and that they encourage us to do. And that's what I'm going to discuss here today, those things. Then I have another one coming that talks about what is happening. And man, that is so freaking cool. So cool. I might drop that one later this week. And when I say drop, I mean upload it for you guys to hear. So stay tuned. I'm not sure if I might give that to you a little bit earlier just because I'm so excited for it and honestly, why wait, you know? Um but I have 6 pages of notes from this channeling session. That's how big this thing was and how important it was. Now, remember I telling you about what happened yesterday with the hawk? At the moment that I was listening to this channeling session, the person that I channeled it for happened to reach out to me and just said, "Man, for some reason I'm being told to reach out to you. For whatever reason I'm told to reach out to you and I just want to say thank you." And so think about this. At the very moment, on the very day, you're talking almost a month after I channeled for her. I mean, I do talk to her a lot, and we have a group together, so I do see her quite often. However, um, she happened to get a message to reach out to me at the very second that I'm listening to a channeling session that I did for her a month earlier. At the very moment, a hawk's flying over my head. Yeah, this is huge. All right. So, first thing I want to talk about, guys, is the importance of your words. Now, this is the this is part 1 of this particular podcast. There's another part to this podcast that I want to get to that's very important. But your words are so important, and it's something that we could be mindful of. Obviously, we say all the time on this podcast, our thoughts, words, and actions all have energy. And it is that energy that is part of those 12 universal laws. The law of attraction, the law of compensation, the law of polarity. So, if we are not mindful of those words, it can have impact that we don't necessarily want. So, us, you, the audience of this podcast, as you guys proceed, right? You, we can be, and I'm trying not to use words again that are saying you must, because again, free will. They don't say you must. They say we encourage, and I want to stick to that. So, um, but anyway, back to the point. Let me give you a few suggestions. A few. There's a book out there called The Secret that I thought laid this out pretty well. Excuse me. I've read that. I read that book probably right before I first started all of this. But anyway, basically, if I want something, if I have a child that, and this might be an elementary type of way of saying this, if I have a child that will not empty the dishwasher or it takes him a while to do it because he just doesn't want to, so he complains or, he's kind of being lazy about it. But I don't want to say that to him. Like when I approach him on emptying that dishwasher, I'm not going to go stop being lazy because all the energy is on being lazy. What I want to do is say work hard and empty that dishwasher. Do the work, empty the dishwasher. So as he grows up, he's not going to continuously hear lazy, 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 and that energy is not going to build on him. The actual energy that will build on him is work hard and do the work. That's the energy that's going to build on him. Right now, we hear things all the time out in society right now in these times about, pick anything. Uh, oh, hate. We'll see things about hate all the time. Don't hate. That is not if you want to invoke love, then say love. I love you, and I'll tell you what. Actually, I I um I actually tell people a lot. Hey, I love you, and people are very, very, very. They don't know how to handle that. I mean, a lot. Like I'll pass people in the grocery store and pay them a compliment, and they just don't know what to do with that. But it's all in a matter of putting good energy out there. Um, I told somebody on a job interview before that I love them, and they were like, "What?" I mean, I didn't get that job clearly because people don't know how to handle that. But to me, I do love everybody, and I really want to be a beacon of light out there for all of you. So I choose my words carefully, and I don't say I love you lightly. It's something that I do mean, and I do mean it for all of you. So choose your words carefully. Other aspects of things, I want peace. Okay. That's a great way of saying that rather than stop the looting, stop the rioting, stuff like that. I want peace. Invoke peace. Say what it is that you want, not that what you don't want. If that's actually a great way of putting it, saying what you do want. I want love. But also, as we have also discussed so many times on this podcast, is you got to act in that direction as well. And I don't mean to bring up things that we have discussed so many times, but the words are important. And the way that you phrase those words is very, very important. And that's the topic. That's the key here today that I really want to get across in this part one of this podcast in a two-part series of podcasts. So this is the tip of the iceberg today. So be very mindful of how we are wording our words, uh, and the different types of phrases that we are using when we are discussing things, because there's energy there. And obviously we're human, so we're going to make mistakes. I make them. But um judgments, any judgments that things that I try not to say, I always say, um I try really hard not to say stupid. So I'll say, man, I'll say interesting a lot. And I say that on purpose. Or I'll say, that's silly. And I say silly in a lighthearted way. Although that's another key point of this. The lightheartedness, just because you say something in a manner that might not be fully, um like, you don't intend it to be negative, doesn't mean that it isn't. Unfortunately, it's a word that is low in vibration. So um we don't want to say like murder. I can't say murder and invoke this high amount of energy with that word. That's It just doesn't happen like that. It is a low vibrational word and it invokes low vibration. And so therefore you have to choose what you say wisely and say what it is that I'm looking for in that positive aspect to help you get and acquire the energy that you're looking for. Now, this is all tying into this next point that I'm going to be getting to, which is really, really interesting. Really interesting. So, and we're going to get to that right now. But just be mindful of your words. They are so important, guys. Do not take them lightly. Even take a second and actually think about what you're saying before you say it if you can. And mindfulness and meditation help you with that, which is why they are so important. They give you that moment. Meditation and mindfulness, they provide you with that split second. Wait a second. Is that something that I should indulge in? Is that a word I should be using? Yes, no. It gives you that opportunity to make a decision, to not actually act in an emotional, irrational way. It allows you to make decisions that are based truly from the heart, and rather than the mind and the ego and the fear and the frustration and anger. The meditation really gives you that ability, that split second noticement of things. Okay, so be aware of those words that we choose. Choose them wisely. Choose what you want rather than what it is you don't want. We want love, we want peace, because we are all one. And that's so important here. That's a message that's really going to come around in these next couple of podcasts here. But the next thing, huge topic here. Um, we talked about the light body a couple weeks ago. Now, things that we can do here is the topic today. Choosing the words carefully is one thing. The next is building your spiritual support team. Now, what is your spiritual support team? Your spiritual support team, when you are born, you have souls, that spirits that have agreed to work with your um your soul, your physical body in this lifetime, and to help your soul grow. However, with the different decisions that we make, we either gain more or stay the same, or even potentially lose some if we go even low vibrational. Like if we started out a lifetime with a soul that is very, very well developed, and then over time we start to fade away from that development and we actually start to go low vibrational, well then we actually, our ascendant master isn't really going to make himself, he's going to try to do things to help us for sure, and he's always going to be there, yes. But we've channeled messages before where the more low vibrational we go, depending on how low we go, it is very difficult for them to come in and help. So, things to be aware of. Now, we want to, if you want to build your spiritual support team, which I highly encourage. Now, I was, you guys know I was a ghost hunter. And for years, I started when I was 12 years old, way before all these shows came out. I was ghost hunting for a long time, and have had a lot of experiences there. And when I just recently, I happened to watch a show, and which I don't really do anymore. I don't really watch those shows anymore, only because I like to keep my vibrations high. So I really watch what I watch. I really monitor what I watch. Well, it was interesting because the gentleman was working with something that was really not good. And that, what I just said there, not good, is better than saying bad. And that's a good um a good representation of watching your words. So the thing he was working with was not good. And he brought up a really good point. Actually, I'll tell you, it was Zach Bagans from the Travel Channel's Ghost Adventures, which I really liked that show. Um, and he brought up an interesting point, and that was um, he wanted to see. He was working with this gentleman who was not doing good things, and this gentleman was summonings, however you would say it, the guy down there. And Zach kept saying, I have a strong support team. I have a strong support team. Like he actually only said it once, but either way, it was a sentence that resonated with me strongly. And when I went back to this channeling session that I did back in May, they actually discussed the spiritual support team and how to grow it. And I didn't even realize it at the time. Now, we talked about the light body. Remember that, guys? And we used the metaphoric, actually they gave it to me, the metaphor of the elevator and using it. Well, holy moly, guys. Okay, that elevator is not only used by your soul, by your light body. You are not the only rider in that elevator, which is mind blowing. Listen to what I'm saying there, guys. Your light body, your soul, is not the only one riding that elevator. The higher you tap into these realms, right, of your own soul, the higher you get, the higher dimensions you get into, you start tapping into, you start asking for help from these other light beings. You start calling in other angelic beings, other ascendant masters, light beings, multi-dimensional beings. The more you call them in, they actually use, and So you call them in, right? And you start to act the part. Like, this is where the law of attraction kind of, it's more than just the desire, okay? I just read something again. The law of attraction, people keep saying that it's all about just your desire. It is not all about just your desire. That is a large part of it, yes, but action must be taken in that direction. There has to be action for it to really fully come into play. If I'm saying I want something really good, but I continuously go in a low vibrational way, I'm really um, speaking two different languages there. I am really sending mixed signals out to this universe that is confusing the heck out of it, and you're going to struggle. So, but what I was told, um, spiritual beings work with the higher dimensions of our soul. So we have, as we have said many times, we have connections from the third dimension all the way up to 12. Okay. And these spiritual beings um, work with these connections. And as they are working with them, we have these divine footprints, these divine blueprints. Like when we are born, we actually have, hey, this is the outline. This is what we anticipate your entire soul life is going to be like. How long it's going to take you to get here, what needs to be done. These are the beings that we see you're potentially going to be working with. Now, depending on your ability to get the human body to begin to align with your soul and the ascension process depends on how well these beings will be able to work with you. So hear me there, right? So all right, so for instance, I have Anubis. I don't have Anubis, but Anubis has been working with me for a long time, and that's something that he says to me a lot, or has said to me a lot. So Anubis has been with me for a long time, many lifetimes. However, it is just in my past several lifetimes that he has made himself known to me, possibly. It is obviously I'm only aware of this lifetime that he has made himself known to me, but he has only made himself known to me through the direct result of my human body and soul beginning to align as one. Now, the point here, right, is to build your spiritual support team. But what happens is how we do that is we call in these other beings. The point is they are using tools, this elevator, this light body, as a portal, as a road to get down here to help us. But how they do that is by us going up. So we need to begin the rise more. And just like I was saying in the first part of this, to choose your words carefully, right? To the law of attraction, to set that desire, to then to start acting that manner, which is choosing your words. Start to do things like meditate, do things that begin to align you with the soul. Start to raise your vibrations, to be high vibrational, to judge less, and actually to phrase that in a word, um, to phrase that in a way that would be choosing my words carefully would be more accepting of people and their differences. Huge, huge. And this is making so much more sense. So I hopefully you guys are staying with me here. So we need to get into this elevator, this light body, right? And we need to raise it all the way up. And then when we do that, we encounter more spiritual beings that are here to help us and ride that elevator with us. They are helping our souls go as high as we possibly can and to stay there. Because typically, when we ride this elevator, when we're on this light body here, we're up and down. We're in and out of these realms on a soul's level. We're coming in and out. But these spiritual beings will begin to work through us more and more and more with the more that we call them in and the more that we act in a manner that allows them to be there. Anytime you're acting low vibrational, that you're casting judgments, that you are angry, frustrated, anxious, sad, you are causing separation, right? So we are in alignment. Let me see if I can get my fingers here. Anytime we are sad, frustrated, we causing misalignment. Not that we can't be sad, not that we can't be frustrated. We certainly can. But what are we doing with that emotion? Are we acting on it? Are we doing things to cause others frustration, anger? If we are, we're just going further and further apart, and it doesn't allow for their ability to help us even more. It doesn't allow for their spiritual guidance to help us. So they're already working with our higher dimensional selves. And we already have beings that are part of our blueprint, of our soul's footprint, of our ascension process. It is up to us to decide to tap into that and to be one with it. We do have that choice. And the more we become one with this process, the more we allow them to incorporate with our energy and then act through us. And this, guys, is tying in to the next podcast. What I'm telling you right now, them coming through us, stay tuned. Stay tuned, guys. This blew my mind when I was listening to this channeling session yesterday. But anyway, this is huge. Huge. There is something going on right now. There is something going on. And it came out in this session. And we're going to get into it. I'm going to share a lot of what they said. But what was said now is this kind of stuff. That we need to build these portals for our higher selves, for our spiritual helpers, our teams, that we can even build. Call in more. Call them in, build more, ask for help. Ask specifically, how can I build my spiritual support team? How can I be one with my team? How can I raise my vibration enough to have you work through me? Your importance right now is major. Major. You guys, everybody that is listening to this podcast right now is a major player. Understand your role. And I'm going to ask you this. Know it. And I'm choosing my words carefully here, just like I said in the initial beginning of this podcast. Know it. So your heart knows. Your ego mind questions. You know. Your soul knows. Your soul knows you're one with the divine. Your soul knows that you are capable of this. Your soul wants to do this. Your soul knows that you are an aspect of God. Your soul knows this. Your ego mind doesn't want you to believe that, and therefore it causes doubt. But your heart knows, your soul knows. And when you align with that idea, and this was brought up in this channeling session, this what I'm telling you right now was brought up. When you align with the idea and the notion that you are an aspect of God, and that you work with that aspect, things are going to change for the better. Oh, I'm trying not to get into to the next podcast here, but it's so big. It is so big. Let's go back a little bit, because these portals are huge. This light body is huge. Now, let me tell you, you guys know that I don't plan this stuff, right? I don't plan these topics. It's not. This is not something that I've ever planned. And when you look back at all the topics that we've discussed, and the order in which they were brought up, that led us to this point, it's that they're working, guys. They're working through us. They are working through us. They are using us beautifully. Beautifully. They are using us light workers to show, to be their light, to be their love, to be that light and love for this realm, because it's needed. So I just want to read real quick. All right, let me just read something to you here. This is directly from the channeling session. Spiritual beings work. This is a direct quote from the channeling session. Spiritual beings work with the higher dimensional soul's connection. They use our divine blueprint, footprint, energetically to come through the aspects of our soul that we are tapping into on a soul's level and a physical level energetically. Spirit will work with the aspect of the soul from that dimension and use your tapping into it as a portal to come down and help you work through you. Your own soul and light body are their portal. If that isn't mind blowing, man, if that's not mind blowing, wow. I think that's huge. Now, like, think about it. I've been doing this for how long, and I have never thought about it like that. Even after I did the light body thing, the light body podcast, I never thought about it in this way. I never thought that it was like a portal. They gave me, it was them that told me about the elevator. I didn't come up with that on my own. They gave it to me, and now they come through in a channeling session and say, yeah, basically we gave you that elevator because it's true and you're not the only one that rides it. So we have a choice, guys. That's basically what it comes down to. The choice is be high vibrational, low vibrational. And the more high vibrational you are and the more spiritual beings you call in, the more opportunity they have to begin to work through you. Your love and light are needed so much more, or so much now, always in this plane. Always, always needed in this plane. Go be it. Be that light, be that love, use words that are high vibrational, choose, you know, be aware enough to make those choices that are high vibrational. Understand the difference between, or understand judgments, frustration, anger, and acting in those ways. Because I'm seeing so many people out there that are acting in these judgmental ways, in these frustrated ways. And I get it. I understand where you're coming from. There's no judgment here. I'm not saying you're wrong, right, or not. All I'm saying is I want you and your spiritual support team to work together as one. And the best way for that to happen is when you guys align. And when you guys are in alignment, you are in complete love and acceptance. Martin Luther King and Jesus and Buddha and so many other spiritual beings and teachers teach us that it is only through love that we break that cycle. Love is the most powerful force out there. Anytime we act in that low vibrational manner, we feed it. We've discussed that in ad nauseum here. But every time we act in love, we feed that. So we ask you, which one do you want to act in? In a in a location, in a realm that's full of density and much darkness, what do you want to be? Do you want to be more darkness or do you want to be light? I choose to be light. Absolutely, because they're amazing and we are all one. This next podcast is going to be huge because I am trying so hard not to get into it. But we are all one. You, me, everybody. Everybody out there. I don't care who they are or what they did. Every human out there, we are all one. Everybody. There's no separation. And there's no separation between us and God. We are God incarnate. We are aspects of God incarnate. Open up to that divine self. Open up to that divinity. Be the peaceful person, the peaceful soul, and allow that to come to the forefront. Be that light so that other people can begin to follow. The non-judgments, the full of peace, the full of love, the full of acceptance. Man, like think about that. Think of the power, the amount of joy that you can bring to people when you're like, "Oh my gosh, just, filled with so much love." And there's so much love out there. There really is. But right now there's a lot of pain too. But be that love. There are aspects in this podcast I know I could have chosen my words a little bit differently, but be that. Be that love. And raise that elevator. Acquire more participants. Allow your spiritual support team to really get on board and come down and begin to work with you, through you. And you do that by being the highest, best version of you, by not engaging in the lower vibrational, energetic forms, by being the high vibrational forms that they are. That's how we do it. That's how we go higher. And that's how we allow them to come down further. Right? If you think about it, they're all the way up here, okay? Now, mediums, psychics, and when we're dealing with mediums, I will say, when we are dealing with spirit up above, we must go up. Okay, so in order for them to work through us, we have to go up so high. When we go up so high, it provides them the opportunity to not have to come down so much. So what they do is they leverage our soul. I don't want to beat a dead horse, guys, but you get the picture, I hope. This I, this is such a huge topic. This is so huge, huge. If you think about it, and there's so much. I'm telling you, this is page 1 of like 6 pages of notes that I got here. Page 1. I'm trying so hard not to go further. I'll close the book as of now, and I'll channel for you guys. And I will thank you so much for allowing me to be here today and listening and being a part of this and being the best version of yourself, because you are a major player here. Make no mistake about that. You're a major player. Your light, your love are so important. So also stay tuned, because I might drop another one this week. We'll see. I think I am. I think I am. So be ready for that if you don't mind. But part 2 is coming, and that one's really, really interesting. But be mindful of your words. Raise your portal, your light body. And we do that through our thoughts, words, and actions, and being high vibrational by choosing to rise above, by choosing to build our spiritual support team, and then acting in accordance with that to allow them the opportunity to come down through the portal that we have built, through that light body elevator that we have risen. They can come through and work through us. So hopefully I've spelt that out well enough for you guys. Sometimes I feel like I get too excited. I don't spell it out enough, or I get too confusing. But hopefully you guys get it, and you know you can always reach out to me. I'm gonna take a moment to channel for you, and I appreciate it. I feel like my dizziness was. I can feel it in the back there, but it hasn't been too bad, so that's pretty good. But I'm going to take a moment and channel for you guys. Grateful we are. Christopher, thank you for the opportunity to communicate through you. The accuracy of this podcast is one of great beauty, my children. Enoch speaking. We are operating through Christopher's light body elevator, if you will, a metaphoric representation of the energetic portals that we are flowing through. We are depicting these elevators simply for ease of understanding. Please understand this. The energetic vibrations that are needed to reach, tune such levels are great and require much effort on the work of a humankind, but are obviously much possible for all humanity to achieve such achievements through the direct result of decisions that humankind as an individual will make on an individual level. Individuals can choose to begin to rise above the density levels. I can see a forest, guys, and the soul is rising above it. I can see the soul above the tree line. Yes. Correct. An aspect of the soul that is rising above, which is exactly what is happening at this moment, that allows for our channeling ability to occur. For Christopher's soul is rising above the density to reach the higher dimensional realms and allow for our communication to come forward. Henceforth, we are communicating with you through the direct result of decisions and efforts that he has allowed through. And we are grateful for such communication. For this work is, my children, not easy, but absolute possible. We encourage you all to be at peace. And peace, we say, as a direct result of Christopher's first indication of choosing words carefully. This is an aspect of this podcast that we have absolutely guided him to communicate about. The word choice of all humankind is one that is important, for it does carry energetic vibrational levels that are at play when the soul is attempting to rise. For it is within these levels that the words can either rise higher or lower. And it is important to understand as you make the decisions to be of a higher vibrational order, which we hope and choose you do. You can also begin to lower that with the word choices that you begin to use and misalign with your soul. Should you choose to discourage yourself or not be one with the divine oneness yourself, which you are out of alignment. And this is not encouraged, my children. We encourage and recommend all humankind to be one with the notion that God does operate, your creator, through you. God, your creator, does operate through you. Your creator is one with every one of you. All humankind is one that has chosen to rise, and thus all of you have the ability to do so. We encourage all to do so through the free will choice that all humankind has. And through this free will choice comes action, through thought, through words, decisions, movement. And with these decisions, movement is made. The more decisions that are made that are in alignment with this decision of raising vibration, the more opportunity that higher dimensional beings have to come and assist with the soul in its development. And we are so grateful for these opportunities. For so many on this plane are attempting to rise at this time, and we are eternally grateful. Continue to work in this manner, my children, and rest not on the notion that your light is not needed, for it is. Your light is a major aspect of this realm, and the density that must be shined through. The beacon of light that you all carry through the heart chakra is vital to the aspects of God that we are attempting to shine. And that is an aspect, a topic that Christopher is going to be communicating about. We are attempting at this time to I don't know, I think they're looking for a word here, quell. I'm not sure. I think they're trying to say something like hold. Correct? Hold. We will use and rephrase. We are attempting to hold the conversation, parts of it, for a later time, my children. But there is an energetic shift that is occurring. And we will attempt to work through you all and encourage you all to begin the aspects of ascending, of acknowledging your oneness with your Creator, of acknowledging your divine oneness self, of acknowledging your divine self, who you are as a soul, first and foremost, my children. Through this, there are aspects of the soul that can begin to work with itself. And your heavenly support team that is included, your spirit guide that are working with your soul regardless every day, can help even more to allow for that energetic force to assist in the rising. And we are so grateful for this information to be brought forth here today. Thank you. Enoch speaking. Go in peace, my children. Be at one with your divine self for now. There is absolute more to come. And we are so grateful for the opportunity to communicate with you at this time. Thank you. Thanks, Enoch. Thank you, Enoch. Thank you, guys, for listening. Again, more to come, and I appreciate Enoch for not going deeper, because I could feel like he wanted to, because there is so much more to talk about here. But we really needed to get these two topics out of the way. So hopefully you guys go out there and really begin to monitor what we're saying, how we're saying it, are choosing our words carefully to be of high vibrational, and allowing our spiritual support team to really come down and work through us, because that's where it's at. That's where it's at. Thank you so much. Take care. Enjoy your day. Hey, also, if you're on YouTube or any other platform listening to this, if you wouldn't mind, please like and share. I appreciate that. I know it could help spread this word of love, which is so desperately needed. So like, share, and if you want, go to my website, opentoenergy.com. I appreciate it. Thank you. Love you all. Take care.